This afternoon, the Ghana CSO's platform on the Sustainable Development Goal is sounding the alarm bells over a looming shortage. Also in the bulletin, latest reports by the Public Interest and Accountability Committee, PIAC, shows Ghana's declining oil production down from a peak of over $71 billion in 2019 to just 37.3 million barrels in 2025. And later in the bulletin, poultry farmers and sellers in parts of Bono East region urge immediate government intervention to save their businesses from collapse due to lack of buyers for eggs. Details of these and more in the next 30 minutes. My name is Hammoah Agyemang. Stay with us. Many thanks for joining us. Let's begin the bulletin now. The Ghana CSO's platform on SDGs is raining alarm over a looming shortage of family planning supplies in the country following the prolonged holdup of essential commodities valued at $500,000 at the port of entry since August 2024. The group warns that continued delays could put the lives of thousands of women at risk as stock levels across national and regional medical stores continue to decline. According to the platform, the supplies procured by the United Nations Population Fund and consigned to the Ministry of Health Ghana have yet to be cleared. The commodities include contraceptive pills, implants, injectables, condoms, intrauterine devices, and other medical instruments. Let's stay on this and speak with Nana Oyetando. She is Communications Officer of the ARHR. Nana, thank you for talking to us this afternoon. We are going to quickly connect with him and then have that conversation, all-important conversation on why some family planning supplies in the country are still at the port after they have been consigned to the country by the WHO some years back. Nana Oyetando is joining us on the line. Nana, thank you for your time this afternoon. We understand the clearance process began in 2024. What is causing the delay along the way? It's been 2 years.
Hi, good morning. It's a pleasure talking to you. So, as a way of setting context, in 2024, August, CSOs came together to get some family planning commodities stuck at the port out. And as to what is actually causing the delay was because the donor, which in this context is the United Nations Population Fund, UNFPA, donated some items to Ghana. And these are purely donations which are supposed to come to Ghanaian women for free. So these items were donated to Ghana and consigned to the Ministry of Health. And sadly, Ministry of Health has failed to clear these goods at the port. And it has resulted in stockouts in central and medical stores, which are also affecting regional and district medical stores and hospitals and clinics and all of that. But I would like to say that maternal mortality rate is very high. And family planning is an intervention that had come to correct this menace. And you know, family planning is a human rights issue. And Ghana has also signed to Family Planning 2030 and even Sustainable Development Goals commitments. But yet, our government contribution is very low when it comes to, you know, making sure that family planning gets to the people, even though we have signed to commitment all of that. Most of the things that we get are from donors. 2025, we had a drop because USAID was contributing about 40% of family planning commodities, which they had to pull out. UNFPA and the West African Health Organization are the ones that are supporting hugely ever since the drop. And it is sad that these commodities had to be stuck at port, and our sources have it that it is near expiry. By next year, these commodities are going to expire and they will be at the port, sadly.
How many containers are we talking about yet to be cleared, and what has been the response of government from your interactions with them?
Yeah, so the ones that we have there, which we are advocating for right now, are about 3 shipments, and they are worth about $500,000. UNFPA has engaged Ministry of Health, Ministry of Finance, and all other well-meaning duty bearers in this discussion. But it looks like the processes are still slow. To be able to determine exactly what is causing this major delay after all of these engagements is something that I cannot tell. I would also love to mention that we are just seeing a new development, which is very, very heartbreaking, that UNFPA has written to suspend all other shipments and donations on family planning that they have intending to give to Ghana. And this is really heartbreaking for us. This is really sad. We are envisioning right now that if this happens, we cannot even calculate the number of maternal mortality, unsafe abortions, teenage pregnancies, and all of these things that is about to be foregone.
And so it gives a clear picture that if government doesn't intervene immediately, it can turn bad for us.
We have some demands, actually. If government doesn't intervene, it's going to look very bad. We are asking government, Ministry of Health, Ministry of Finance especially, in this conversation to make sure that they draw out a plan to get these goods out of the...
You have just 1 minute remaining.
We apologize for that. We'll quickly raise Nana Tando on the phone and continue the conversation. They are calling on government to immediately intervene so that some locked up consumables, medical consumables at the port will be released. She talks about the fact that we have a lot of contraceptive pills, implants, injectables, condoms, intrauterine devices, and other medical instrument locked up there. And this is to also say that the supplies were procured by the United Nations Population Fund, UNFPA, and were consigned to the Ministry of Health, Ghana. Since 2024, and as of now, they have not been cleared. And so if you look at Ghana's numbers when it comes to these areas and the call for a lot of action to be taken, the fact that these consumables are locked at the ports does not paint a really good picture for us. And the earlier government intervenes, the better for us. And so we'll quickly raise Nana on the phone again and continue that conversation. While we do that, let's do some other stories now. And Cabinet will meet this afternoon to consider measures to cushion Ghanaians from the impact of rising fuel prices, largely attributed to ongoing tensions in the Middle East. Government is seeking immediate interventions to ease the burden on households and businesses. Fitch and President Mahama last week stated the economy of Ghana is more resilient to withstand any shocks as a result of the rising crude prices. The meeting is expected to outline practical steps to stabilize fuel prices and mitigate their effects on the Ghanaian economy. And you want to trust us because we'll definitely bring you details and updates of whatever is going to be discussed, as well as the recommendations and the resolutions that will be undertaken at that meeting. Talking about consumer issues, though, consumer-based organizations are urging government to institutionalize continuous market surveillance to curb unjustified price hikes before they take root. The Ghanaian market in recent years has seen a trend of price hikes, often in unison and coordinated, but rarely come down with the same urgency when conditions demand that. From transport fares to cement and sachet water, consumers are frequently left questioning whether every increase is truly justified. This call follows a decision by the National Association of Sachet and Packaged Water Producers to maintain current prices after a meeting with the Ministry of Trade, Agribusiness and Industry. Here's a report. So it's been a long day here at the Ministry of Trade, Agribusiness and Industry, with the meeting going into 4 hours and beyond. The area of conversation was an announcement by the sachet water packagers and producers that they intend to increase the price of a bag of sachet water as a result of shortage of their polymers. The association makes a case that a ton of polymer, which sold at $920, is now selling at $1,200 200 because of the closure of the Strait of Hormuz, which also happened due to the America-Israel-Iran war. But after conversations and discussions with the minister, the group is announcing that the old price of a bag of sachet remains the same. Proposed increment was expected to take effect, potentially pushing the cost of a bag of sachet up. But after conversations and discussion with the minister, the group says the old price of sachet water remains. President of the association, Eboboche, says that the association will absorb any cost that is coming out of the decision, but will ask government for some interventions to stay afloat.
After listening to her, and considering the fact that sachet water is a basic necessity for over 33 million Ghanaians, yes, we are losing money if we go back to the old price, but then for the fact that we love Ghana and Ghana must thrive, we've decided to absorb the shock and keep the old prices for at least a month or two. And we expect that it will trickle down to the sachet water producers as well.
The Minister of Trade, Agribusiness and Industry, Elizabeth Ofosu-Ejari, assured the group of government supports and interventions even as they find a way around the situation.
Because the economy has been stable for a while, we think that they have been cushioned. So it is good time for the industry to also cushion Ghanaians. They have agreed to do that so that we continue to enjoy the stability that we have in the system. Because in any economy, there are gains and there can be losses. Don't worry, this is temporary. I think that this economy is resilient enough to bounce back quickly so that you make the returns on your investment. So on that note, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, sachet water sellers, retailers, wholesalers, the prices remain the same.
The two parties, that is the ministry and the sachet water producers, agree that challenges facing the sector remain unsolved and further consultations will be key in determining decisions that will happen in that sector. From the Trade and Agribusiness Industry Ministry here at Accra, Grace Hammoah Agyemang. Well, let's come back to the studio and speak with the West African Regional Director of CATS International, Mr. Adomako Kusi Apia, lawyer. Mr. Kusi, thank you for your time this afternoon. You were in the meeting yesterday. Take us through the talking points.
Okay, so good afternoon and good afternoon to your listeners. What happened yesterday was that the manufacturers, the importers of these polymers, expressed concern that the war in Middle East has caused an upward jump in the import price of the commodity that are used to manufacture the polymers. And the minister also made them to understand that between January 2025 and February 2025, the appreciation of the cedi against the dollar also meant that the importers were cashing in and they were also making profit, and nobody asked them to reduce the prices at which they sell the polymers to the local sachet water producers. So they had already made some over 60 months of profit as a result of the appreciation of the cedi. And so with this just 1 month price shock, they should be able to also absorb the shock, and then they should give ourselves 2 months, because what is happening in the Middle East is not something that is going to last. And even yesterday in the meeting, for example, the price of crude oil had moved from $120 to $92, and so there is indication that this war will end very soon and will soon come to normalcy. So there's no point in rushing to increase the prices, though the import price might have gone up. And the importers agree with the minister, and we gave ourselves 2 months window to come back to see how the price in the world market has been.
You see, these hikes by the associations and unions, are they really justified? not only to the sachet water producers, but the other associations? Are they really justified?
Ghanaian businesses are always interested in hiking prices with the least opportunities, speculations. I remember in 2022, when the city was facing adversities, associations were just calling their members to increase their prices. That is very wrong, because associations don't have any right to tell members to increase their price. That is price fixing. Let each individual member decide how much it wants to sell their product, not the association coming in to tell their members to sell their product at a particular price. The Constitution allows for freedom of association. However, there's also a red line between freedom of association and also association demanding their members increase prices. We hope that once the competition law is passed, I'm very sure that all of these associations announcing prices will be a thing of the past.
Right. What is the way forward beyond the passage of this law?
So the way forward is that, I think we need laws, because when businesses are not competing, when businesses go for a meeting and say, let's increase our prices, that is a conspiracy against consumers. So I think that we need to get a law. It goes beyond having the law. Its full implementation is the way forward, because Ghana has lots of laws that are not being implemented. So we don't just want to add another law to our statutes, but a law that will be fully implemented so that consumers will be protected against bad practices of some businesses. And also, competition law is something that will also protect SMEs against bad practices from the bigger players. So it helps both consumers and also businesses. Right.
Mr. Kusi, thank you for talking to us. We are grateful. We've been engaging Kusi Adumaku Apia. He is the West African Regional Director of CATS International. This is still the midday news on 3FM 92.7. Let's do some other stories now. And Ghana's oil production is on a steady decline. From a peak of over 71 million barrels in 2019, output has dropped sharply to just 37.3 million barrels in 2025, cutting production nearly in half over 6 years. That drop is already taking a toll on government revenue. Petroleum earnings fell from $1.36 billion in 2024 to $770 million in 2025, a loss of almost $600 million in just 1 year. The pressure is even more visible in oil sales. Income from crude oil liftings declined by more than 50%, showing that Ghana is not only producing less oil, but also earning far less from what it produces. Beyond the decline, serious accountability concerns are emerging. More than $561 million in petroleum revenue remains unaccounted for by a subsidiary of the National Oil Company. At the same time, funds meant for development are not being used. About $434 million allocated for infrastructure is sitting idle in a suspense account instead of driving projects on the ground. Across the sector, financial risks are also building. The National Gas Company is carrying a debt burden of over $620 million, raising concerns about stability in the energy value chain. Taken together, the numbers point to a sector under strain, with falling production, shrinking revenues, rising financial pressure, and growing questions about how Ghana's oil wealth is being managed. And this is a conversation we'll be very heavy on in our subsequent bulletins. You don't want to miss out on this. And poultry farmers and excellence in Doma in the Bono East region are raising urgent concerns as an overflow of eggs threaten their livelihoods, with thousands of eggs perishing amid stagnation in cross-border trade with Burkina Faso. The crisis unfolds despite recent government assurances highlighting the dire need for immediate interventions to alleviate the escalating waste and protect the agri sector. There's more in this report.
The association members are experiencing frustration due to an ongoing export blockade by Burkina Faso authorities, who deem their eggs unsafe to eat. This situation has led to thousands of unsold eggs and significant economic strain. The farmers recall a promise made last month by President John Dramani Mahama regarding a delegation to Burkina Faso, but they have not received any feedback or solutions since then.
We have been informed that the authorities in Burkina Faso are claiming that our eggs are not edible and may pose health concerns. Currently, there is a shortage of eggs in Burkina Faso, and our customers are demanding supply. Yet, we are unable to meet this demand due to ongoing restrictions. Following the presentation of our petition led by Osajifo Osiadeyo Dr. Agyemang II to the President of the Republic, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, on 18th March 2026, we were assured that a delegation would be sent to engage the authorities in Burkina Faso to address the situation. However, since then, we have not received any update or feedback regarding to this intervention.
Addressing the media, Chairman of the Egg Exporters Association urged Ghana's Agriculture and Trade Ministries to engage in government-to-government discussions, establish clear export procedures, and implement independent health certification to ensure the safety of Ghanaian eggs.
We call on the government of Ghana to take immediate steps to engage the government of Burkina Faso to resolve the current restrictions. We request the establishment of clear and consistent export procedures from the Agriculture and Trade Ministry to guide future trade.
So you had some poultry farmers there from the Bono East region lamenting the lack of a market for their eggs. Away from that, the recommendation to ban the use of Toyota Voxy vehicles for commercial intercity travel has sparked mixed reactions among transport operators. This comes a day after the Road Safety Authority received a committee report proposing the ban. Operators are threatening to challenge the move in court, arguing that authorities should rather focus on dealing with unqualified drivers and improving poor road conditions instead of targeting a specific vehicle type. Joseph Armstrong, our reporter, has been speaking to some drivers.
We are currently here at the Neoplan station where some Voxy vehicles operate from this place to Kumasi, and it's been a day after the Technical Working Committee presented their report to the Road Safety Authority asking or requesting that the use of the Voxy vehicles be banned for commercial purposes. We want to pick some reaction from the drivers here, whether they've heard this and how they are receiving this particular information coming from the Technical Working Committee that has presented its reports to the Road Safety Authority. How many of these Voxy vehicles do you have in this particular yard?
It's almost 250.
250 of these vehicles?
Yes.
You may have heard that there is a request for your operations using these vehicles for commercial purposes to be banned. You've heard it?
Yes, I heard it yesterday.
How do you receive this news?
Oh, I heard it, but it's too bad for us.
Mate band no na nti ase se car aba no ma ya se commercial car mo an mo register car se commercial la later mo ka se car no mo band car no nti ase ya se se ya wa akra Kumasi ya the driver se ka se o mo driver ha if say ayi by car bi an free ya se se ya ko Kumasi apem da ana anya zinda e bi on ko safety e so o mo san ko bi o mo ko ba o mo
the committee should go back to its work.
Yes.
You think they didn't do a good job?
When they started introducing bus for long journey, check number of times bus share. At least bus in the number na kuta no na bus no so. Bus system no metima say bus ni nyina mpo na enru 500. But bus is ne hwe Voxy be 5 times per the bus no start here no. Enti yen taking percentage wise, se bus ba ko hwe say ya ka was say mbo no men kasa sa amra. But they say Voxy was the best 5 na show. But if you Nusa, but they say Ford so buy the same thing and happen here. Toyota has buy the same thing. Toyota has buy. Yes, but Toyota has we say don't do a work and we can count it. The best time is best 10 and Voxy no. But Toyota has buy
In short, all you are saying is that other vehicles get involved in an accident.
Involved in an accident in one way or the other.
Jakwanya ye nam so pa ni titu asebe empanifo wo Ghana ha no emo mani ko ho hwe Accra to Nkoko ana Accra to Kumasi wonam kwan we so a ayere so a week bia ajo to tai ekwan nya eno ho asem pa na eso mo kan kese na nya ya voice asem na mo kan emmoa wom ka no edoso eti anya dan daku ebi betimi anya sem ka we me face say I had to Kumasi ekwan higher double road a na me kwa ka ni ba na be hia me ana makoto akone.
So you've been hearing some drivers of the Toyota Voxy vehicles saying that they don't believe that their vehicles are to blame for the numerous accidents on the road. They are also attributing accidents on Ghana's roads to other factors, including bad roads as well as unqualified drivers. This is a conversation that is just beginning, and we'll bring you a lot more on it also in our subsequent bulletins. Away from that, in the face of the upcoming World Cup, it is emerging that unsuspecting victims are being trafficked in the name of travel opportunities to watch the tournament, with some being offered job opportunities in line with the Mundial. The Gender Minister Na Momolate says it has become important that government, together with stakeholders, step up its drive to protect citizens. Speaking on the sidelines of a 2-day capacity workshop organized by the ministry in collaboration with the International Justice Mission for members of the Gender Committees of Parliament, she called for reforms in existing legislations.
This is a very important workshop, especially coming at the back of the World Cup that is creating a lot of energy in the country and euphoria. The side issues that we have to deal with when it comes to the World Cup is that unsuspecting victims are trafficked in the name of, going to watch the World Cup. And so this is a proactive way of supporting the country and all other persons to know that these things can happen. And so we should all be on our guard and ensure that at every stage we ask questions that are necessary for our safety and security. Before anybody can protect you, you should have taken some steps to ensure that you are safe. And so that is why this workshop is coming. So it is important that beyond legislation, beyond the laws, we are seen being proactive in the implementation of the laws. And I think that is the only way that we'll be able to salvage what we want to have as a nation, or what we have.
That was Gender Minister Agnes Namomu Lati, ending the midday news on 3FM 92.7. My name is Grace Hammoah Agyemang. Thank you for joining us. Bismarck Ewisa standing by to bring us the latest in the world of business. Don't go away.
Hello, good afternoon and welcome to Business Daily on 3FM 92.7. Coming up, Cabinet meets this afternoon over rising flour prices and Middle East tensions. We'll bring you details. Also ahead, analyst urges support for OSP to crack down on downstream illegalities as Ghana loses 2 billion cedis annually to petroleum cartels.
If we're able to win off these activity in the downstream, it will save us about 2 billion Ghana cedis annually, which will be used to support other critical budget infrastructure.
Plus, Ghana Institution of Surveyors urges government to bar foreign firms from land surveying contracts.
Foreign surveyor comes and they will pick all the data and it doesn't become national asset because it will be taken away.
I am Bismarck Ausa. Will bring you details of our headlines and other stories shortly. Please stay. Thanks for your company. Now to the details. Cabinet is set to meet this afternoon to deliberate on urgent measures aimed at cushioning Ghanaians and the business community from the sharp rise in fuel prices. The recent price hikes are largely attributed to ongoing geopolitical tensions in the Middle East, which have disrupted global oil markets. The government is reportedly seeking immediate interventions to ease the financial burden on households and businesses. This meeting follows a statement by President John Dramani Mahama last week, who expressed confidence that Ghana's economy is now more resilient and better positioned to withstand global crude oil shocks. This afternoon's session is expected to produce a roadmap of practical steps to stabilize local palm prices and mitigate the ripple effects of high energy costs on the broader economy. Moving on, a massive corruption scandal in Ghana's downstream petroleum sector has been unmasked, with recent investigations by the Office of the Special Prosecutor uncovering widespread illegalities involving bulk oil distribution companies, oil marketing companies, and high-ranking state officials. The illegal activities, which include sophisticated tax evasion and the diversion of subsidized petroleum products, are estimated to cost the Ghanaian taxpayer approximately 2 billion cedis annually. Speaking to 3 Business, Executive Director of SEMSI, Benjamin Insia, urged a united front to dismantle these cartels.
Recent exposure by the Office of the Special Prosecutor within the petroleum downstream is becoming very alarming. And this cost the state about 2 billion Ghana cedis annually through some of these illegal activities, through tax evasion, and also diversion of petroleum products meant for subsidized market onto the retail market. I think that such a phenomenon must not be encouraged, and I urge the National Petroleum Authority, the Ghana Standard Authority, and other collaborative agencies to support the Special Prosecutor to be able to calm these particular illegal activities off or win it off the industry. I also urge CSOs to begin to focus more on this sector to ensure that we're able to name and shame any OMC, any BDC, any collaborative institution that supports these particular illegal activity. We think that if we're able to win off these activity in the downstream, it will save us about 2 billion Ghana cedis annually, which will be used to support other critical budget infrastructure.
You heard Executive Director of SEMSI, Benjamin Insia. Still on the petroleum sector, the Public Interest and Accountability Committee, PIAC, has signaled its intent to seek legal clarity from the Supreme Court following a massive revenue shortfall involving Explorco, a subsidiary of the Ghana National Petroleum Corporation, GNPC. The move, suggested by a former PIAC chair, stems from the subsidiary's consistent failure to lodge its oil proceeds into the Petroleum Holding Fund as mandated by the Petroleum Revenue Management Act. According to the 2025 PIAC annual report, Explorco has failed to account for a staggering $561.6 million in petroleum revenue due to the state between 2022 and 2024. This includes corporate income tax and surface rentals from the Jubilee and 10 fields. At the launch of the report, former PIAC chair Constantine Kudeji suggested the committee approaches the Supreme Court for a definitive interpretation of the PRMA to compel GNPC and Explorco to surrender the outstanding $561.6 million.
My best bet is for us to go to the Supreme Court for a declaration whether or not those monies are petroleum funds that are payable into the PHF. Because as PIAC, we can recommend, but we cannot enforce. So it's time we take the matter up so that we are clear, because the money keeps building.
Executive Director of the Center for Democracy called for more scrutiny.
These state-owned enterprises essentially represent great systemic risk to our system. On the average, anything between 20 to 25% of our GDP actually runs through some of these state enterprises. Our position is that the mere fact that they are commercial in nature should not be reason why we should exclude them from constitutional scrutiny.
Chair of PIAC, Richard Elima, explains why GNPC Explorco needs to lodge its oil proceeds with the Petroleum Holding Fund.
You take a loan from the Ministry of Finance to buy back some shares that one of the partners was selling off. You buy the shares and then you create a subsidiary called Jubilee Oil Holding Limited. GNPC is a 100% state-owned company. So if you're a 100% state-owned company and you create a subsidiary, by inference, that subsidiary is also state-owned. PRMA is very clear that every revenue from oil, whether directly or indirectly, where the state is involved, the revenues must be lodged into the PHF, the Petroleum Holding Fund.
And that was a report on former chair of PIA calling for Supreme Court interpretation on GNPC's subsidiaries' revenue obligations as Explorco fails to pay over $561 million to the state. This is still Business Daily on 3FM 92.7 with me, Bismarck. Outside some other stories, government is being urged to reserve land surveying in foreign contracts for local professionals amid concerns over national security. The president of the Ghana Institution of Surveyors says allowing foreign firms to handle such sensitive work could have long-term implications for the country.
Land surveying plays a critical role in determining property boundaries and managing land data, making it a key component of national planning and security. Speaking at an honorary membership ceremony organized by the Ghana Institution of Surveyors, its president, Emmanuel Kobold, stressed that local expertise must be prioritized in all surveying-related contracts.
If you bring a surveyor from, a foreign surveyor comes and, like I'm saying, they will pick all the data and it doesn't become national assets because it will be taken away. So on every construction project, we need the quantity surveyors, we need the land surveyors.
The event also highlighted broader concerns within the land sector, including the need to sanitize boundary demarcation and reduce disputes. Former Chief Executive of the Chamber of Mines, Reverend Dr. Joyce Ayi, underscored the importance of engaging certified surveyors to ensure accuracy and credibility in land documentation.
If we would be able to utilize land for good effect, we have to depend a lot on the Ghana Institution of Surveyors. You go to some towns and villages, and the chiefs don't even know their boundaries. They don't know how much land they have because they have not allowed the institution to do a proper survey of what they have.
Meanwhile, former Education Minister Dr. Yawase Duchum called for the introduction of chartered cities to give communities greater control over their development. He says such a model would improve infrastructure, raise property values, and enhance the quality of life without placing additional burden on government.
If East Legon, Trasaco Valley, is an independent city, they select their own mayors, and the state gives them a charter that says you have the freedom to run your own affairs, but you are responsible for the roads and the gutters and everything that goes in here, and you have to run the schools. So you can get state grants, but majority or major part of the funding comes from you. You pay huge property taxes, but you run your own affairs. You have your own city hall. You come together to look at your electricity, to look at your water, everything. That is when you truly become independent.
And that was a report on Ghana Institution of Surveyors urging government to bar foreign firms from land surveying contracts. And that brings us to the end of Business Daily on 3FM 92.7 with me, Bismarck. Also, for more business stories, please check out our website, 3news.com. Thanks for your company.